Welcome back to the show, listeners. This is Angie Baker-Saunders here with the Veterans Voice. And for this segment, we have Blake Schwank on the podcast today to discuss his growth, his company's growth, Colorado Computer Support, our growth here at Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center, and how we are working together to serve the Colorado communities and our veteran community as well. Hi, Blake.
Hi, thanks for having me, Angie.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you here, Blake. So tell us a little bit about what your company has been seeing in the ways of innovation this year.
Well, everybody's talking about AI, and actually we're Colorado Computer Support, but we're currently changing that. We also have CCS IT Pros as another name for our company.
So and IT Pros. So what service are you providing with that?
We provide IT services, but we found that we keep getting more work outside of the state, and we want to expand more outside of just Colorado. So
wow, congratulations.
Government, federal, VA kind of work. And so we figured that CCS IT Pros was a more fitting name and isn't as limiting as Colorado Computer Support is.
Right.
But yeah, we do IT services, cybersecurity, staff augmentation, service desk, that kind of stuff for our clients that are out there.
Excellent. That is fantastic. Now, as you're going toward those government contracts, or you said you did say government.
Yeah, government contracts.
Right.
So we wanted to do more in the government. We do a lot of special districts, smaller county, local government. But
excellent.
Wanting to expand beyond that.
So I'm curious, you've heard of VBOC here, and that's associated with Mount Carmel, the Veteran Business Outreach Center, and I know that they do a lot to help coach folks. Have you connected with VBOC?
Yeah, we've done actually quite a bit with VBOC and Aaron and Kia over there, and they've been a great resource through some of their events and just counseling with them to, they exist, I think, to help new businesses get off the ground, but we've been around for 23 years,
right.
But there's still things to learn, and especially expanding from local county government into more bigger opportunities that are out there. They've been a great resource for us.
That is excellent. And that is one thing that I hear that VBOC is great for new businesses or folks who are trying to build a business plan and get grants and things. But I have seen some amazing work where they have taken existing companies that are trying to make that pivot toward, furthering their reach or expanding the services that they offer. So I love to hear those kinds of success stories, and that you can recommend that to our veteran listeners out there who might be looking at, what's the next leg? What's the next jump toward growth that I can make in my own entrepreneurial journey? So we always love to see those success stories. So, that's great.
Unfortunately, they weren't around when we did this 23 years ago. Thankfully, I had a smart wife with a business degree. She was able to figure out the make sure
the business side of it.
The business side of it.
And you could tinker with all the computers and
I could go
do the fun
stuff.
Yeah.
And she was able to set up the business side of it. But that's the basics, right? So she got all that. So we made sure we paid our taxes, made sure we, saved money to pay Uncle Sam. But then the next level beyond that is, how do you market? How do you grow? How do you scale the business?
Right, absolutely.
And, and so it was, 5 or 6 years into the business before we found a business coach that really made a huge difference in how we ran and operated the business. And that's what VBOC brings. And VBOC, business coaches cost a lot of money. I think VBOC costs how much?
It's free.
It's free.
Right?
So
yes, absolutely.
It's almost like an infomercial.
It is. But it's a worthwhile one, because it really is for the benefit of our entrepreneurs out there. So many veterans come out of service and transition, and the mindset. I think that there's something unique in veterans that lends them oftentimes toward that entrepreneurial spirit. I don't know. Maybe this is just an opinion. Do you have an opinion on that?
No, I think when you get out as a veteran, and so we have several companies that are owned and started by veterans that are our clients, but you've got the passion, you've got the drive, you're willing to work hard. You know what it's like to be in a, be in the suck kind of thing. So you've been through hard things.
Do the hard
so
things.
You're willing to go out and try something different. But someone else has always paid the light bill. Someone else has always done the HR. Someone else has always done the payroll. Someone else has always done, the building leases. Someone else has always done everything while you're out there,
doing the hard
running
things.
your unit, right?
Exactly, right.
And when you come out, it's a big shock for people getting out of the military. Just how do you go find health care, right? That's just one small thing. But how do you, when you start a business, they've not been working one-on-one with other businesses. So how do you start a business? Where do you go? How do you register with the state? How do you, form your company?
All the questions that you didn't even know you needed to ask. That's what VBOC is there to answer, those questions for you and really help you navigate. So, yeah, great things to consider. So, as our listeners might know, Blake and Colorado Computer Support is our technology partner, and we do a lot of things together in collaboration between not just Veterans Voice and Colorado Computer Support, but Mount Carmel in general, because I think both of our organizations have a heart for helping veterans. You try to prioritize hiring veterans, right, and mentoring. And do you want to tell me a little bit more about
half
that?
our staff are veterans,
right.
and it's great because not to take anything away from our folks that are not veterans, but
Sure.
it is nice to have people that you have a similar background with. We've got some Navy, got Marines, Army,
But there's still a mutual cultural understanding.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and it helps, and it also is, if people are getting out and coming directly to us, we can help them with that transition. So we have a Marine that works for us that, she's like 24 years old. The only thing she ever knew was the Marines, and so she also had to figure out how to navigate and people able to help her and understand why they don't know how the civilian life works.
Right. So, what are some of the things that we have on the horizon in 2024? We're kind of a quarter of the way through, but what are you really looking forward to in the next year?
So, as far as doing more,
that was
with Mount
kind
Carmel,
of open-ended. Yeah. That was a little bit open-ended.
I know
but
we have a golf tournament coming
Mm-hmm.
up, and some other events going on with Mount Carmel that
very exciting.
Bob McLaughlin has signed me up for.
Mm-hmm.
We also, as far as you guys, we're implementing new phone services for you guys because we do the full spectrum of IT support for you. Your cybersecurity,
as we've discovered in here.
Yeah,
right in the
we
studio.
actually deal with your soundboard too. But
Uh-huh.
between cybersecurity and phones and video surveillance and all this stuff we've got going on with you guys. But as far as CCS in general, it's doing much more with government opportunities, pursuing that work. Going to Vets 24, which is a big veteran-owned small business event down in Orlando in May,
right?
And trying to figure out how to help our veteran community more through our support of Mount Carmel, VBOC, and the other services that you guys provide, which is awesome. As a company, we found it's huge that most of the clients that we support are impacting other people's lives. We're one person removed from your community. And when we talk about what your community is it's not just the veteran that's leaving Fort Carson or Peterson or whatever. It's, I hooked him up with a friend of the family who is in Chicago getting out of the Army, who is looking for something. But it's not just Chicago. It's down under the bridge. You guys do the homeless stand down.
Yep.
You are changing those lives. You're helping people at end of life, and that's really impactful to us as a business to realize that we're able to help you guys deliver those services to your community.
Well, we so appreciate the fact that you recognize and appreciate that and continue to give back to the community and help us grow and thrive. And it really does become symbiotic because, so many folks come through, for instance, our transition in employment department. We have a program, we have a class for those who are transitioning, and it helps them figure out, your aptitudes. How do you build your civilian resume? How do you find a job post-military life? And so, sometimes maybe we can send a good referral your way or what have you. And so the way that can work, like I said, in symbiotic, it's mutually beneficial. And I do think of it as a Venn diagram. Could any of us exist singularly? Kind of. But really, we all are helping each other grow and thrive. And we're so excited to have VBOC as here in Colorado, because before the Small Business Administration, awarded that grant to us here in Colorado, the nearest VBOC, like you said, it wasn't here 23 years ago. It wasn't even here 2 years ago. Folks who wanted to get that kind of help and that entrepreneurial guidance, they could, but they'd have to go down to New Mexico. That was the nearest VBOC, the center, if you will. So, we're so excited to have this trifecta of, companies like yours, Blake, and Mount Carmel being able to serve our community and grow. And we couldn't do it without the veterans that we exist to serve. So it's really great.
Yeah, and I think, the more that we can get the word out there on what you guys do, because you've been around. Bob started it in 2016, I think.
I believe so,
yeah.
yep.
So when Jay hired Bob Bob McLaughlin to start Mount Carmel. And I had heard of you guys, had driven by you. I honestly didn't do anything. Didn't even stop by to say, what do you guys do? And I think that if you're a veteran in the community, stop by and say hi, because you guys, it's mental health, it's classes. The VSO, you guys have the Veteran Service Officers there, right?
We do. We have, I think, 2 VSOs. We also have VOPA, so you can come get your eyes checked and get a pair of glasses. There's really, everything is located within, I suppose not everything, but we sure do have a heck of a lot right here under one roof in downtown Colorado Springs. And then, of course, we've expanded, and now we have our locations in Pueblo, which... is your company also looking to expand physically, or are you guys more?
Well, so we really don't, not looking at getting another office somewhere at this point, unless we need to, based on where our client expansion is.
IT lends itself to remote work,
we
generally.
can do remote work, and a lot of the times our clients are large clients, so we do a lot of rural health, and if they have someone on site, and usually what they have is a junior technician, then they can take care of all that on-site stuff, and then we're there to help mentor them and help grow them and partner with that person. We don't want their job, and it enables them. But we've done that with other large businesses that are hours away.
That is a great scalable model.
Yeah.
Right. And really everybody wins. It's a win-win for everybody.
Right.
For the folks that you're mentoring and helping. And yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. We even have one at Indian Health Clinic that's up in the Upper Peninsula.
Excellent.
They have a guy that's there, and we've had a partnership for, probably 5 or 6 years, and helping that Indian Health Clinic run their operations, because how do you find... IT help when you're 6 hours away from the nearest airport,
right?
In the middle of an Indian reservation, it starts to get difficult.
Oh, I could only imagine, and I imagine is their internet, the quality of the internet connection is.
Yeah, they have really good internet.
It's really great. Okay, yeah. So now you mentioned health. So is there a reason that you started to focus on supporting the health industry? Is it the I'm just curious.
Well, I got commissioned into the Army out of University of Colorado Springs as a medical service corps officer.
Oh, well, that's a good fit then. A little bit of overlap.
Did some interesting stuff with that, and so did that for 11 years and got out, and then, had a job. Then the .com bust hit, and then started CCS in 2001. Right. And was able to talk the language, understand, how the healthcare system works. It's not exactly the Army healthcare system, but a lot of it's very similar. A lot of the language is very similar. So we've had healthcare clients since 2001, and recently just got into much larger operations, rural health, hospitals, several hundred employee kind of operations.
That is excellent. And I love that you have found a niche. Like, I think I don't know, we've been talking a lot about VBOC, folks who would benefit from VBOC services. And, I think for those listeners out there who are considering the entrepreneurial journey, would you say that finding a niche as a business owner, as somebody who has been honing your business for over 20 years now, that finding some kind of niche or this area of expertise, obviously IT is your industry, but finding the niche within that, how defining has that been for you?
I think it helps, but it's a big debate within, our industry of, do you go for one vertical or do you do multiples? It just happens to be that healthcare is the largest portion of our business, but we also do a whole variety of other businesses and other industries. If you have an expertise in something, I think it helps to have a niche to work in. But I think there's also opportunities to go out there and go broad. So.
Yeah, it probably does kind of vary from business model to business model or vision to vision. And as you said, where does your interest or your passion lie?
As long as it doesn't distract you from your core. If you've got a niche and you're going after that, and I've been very guilty of this in the past of, seeing shiny objects, and we're going down
squirrel.
that. Yeah,
there's a squirrel mentality.
There's a squirrel, and I go in that direction, and it takes you away from what you really need to be working on.
Right. I feel like I do that at least 3 times a day, probably during our conversation here today.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So as you were saying, getting our name out there here at Mount Carmel, Veterans Voice Project is a service of Mount Carmel, and our goal is to highlight events, share resources and what we've got going on with our military-connected community, and show up in the community for folks. And one of my favorite ways that we do that are our fundraising events. A couple weeks ago, we did the St. Patty's Day Parade. We had a breakfast. We had, all kinds of fun happening there. And you mentioned the golf tournament that is coming up. So there are a lot of ways that our listeners out there can get involved, come hang out, and just learn who we are and meet us. I'm not sure. Do you have any events or anything on the calendar that you can think of, Blake?
Events with you guys?
Well, yeah.
So, I know we have the Sanctuary Golf Tournament. I think it's July 10th.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I know we're definitely signed up for that. Last year we did the Hoedown for Heroes. I think I was out of town for that one.
And that is every year in November. So hopefully you won't be out of town this year. So you can come join us, because that's always a good one. We've always got food and music and all kinds of things. So
any event that you guys do is always a lot of fun. You guys have a great group of people. We have you guys out, so we're partners with the Switchbacks Football Club, the soccer team, local soccer team, and we've got a suite there that always enjoy having your folks out to, because you guys are out there to help people. You like helping people. You're generally really nice people, and it's fun to hang out with whatever event you guys have going on.
Oh, absolutely. I always enjoy those moments where we get to just connect as humans and have a little bit of downtime. And then even then, I usually find myself having conversations about, hey, this project, are we so excited about it? I mean, it really does become, it's work hard, play hard, and you're kind of doing both at once, because your brain never stops thinking about, hey, what's the next big thing that we can jump into?
Right.
So, yep. Yeah. And actually, my family got to go to your box at the Switchbacks game the last time you invited Mount Carmel, and because of it, my 8-year-old is now playing soccer. She's a huge Switchbacks fan, and now plays soccer because of what you did for us.
Good or not?
I think it's pretty good.
I was happy. Our daughters played volleyball and
nice.
did a couple other things, but volleyball, the weather inside of a gym is much nicer than it is in April out on the pitch. So
Yep. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
it doesn't rain or sleet or hail inside a gym.
Oh, my husband would be excited if our kids played volleyball. He played college volleyball, and he'd be very, very excited if we could get the girls into that. So maybe that's next.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Blake. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the conversation today?
No, thanks for what you guys do. And I think
Absolutely.
if you're a veteran out there or a military spouse, you know, veterans absolutely need to go by the VA and register with them and go through that whole process. But you also, stop by and see what Mount Carmel's doing. And if you don't think, if you don't need any help at all, then stop by and meet the folks
and just say hi.
and help support them. Because you
Absolutely.
also, you need volunteers from time to time, and you need
absolutely,
you
we
need
do.
financial help. And they always have events where they're looking for sponsors to help the military community and to give back. And there's a lot of the military community that really needs help and that aren't as blessed as we are. But even if you don't need financial help, food help, they've got mental health. They've got everything else that you can help with.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out more, you can visit us at veteranscenter.org. You can shoot me an email at ambaker, that's ANBAKER, at MTCARMELCENTER.org. And we thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Blake.
All right, thank you. And if you want to find us, you can find us at www.coloradosupport.com or 719-439-0599.
You delivered that much more smoothly than I did. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.